In the very first month of Donald Trump's return to the White House, the U.S. has issued 30% fewer student visas to Indian applicants compared to last year. It's the steepest drop amongst all countries. Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese students saw minor dips. Indian students saw disproportionately higher declines. And it's not just rejections. 1,100 international students, including hundreds of Indians, have had their visas revoked mid-program, many without warning. Among them is Manikanta Pasula, who was just months away from his master's degree in New Hampshire. A legal fight is now brewing. Students like Chinmay and Gaurie in Michigan are now suing the government. The wait for a visa in Delhi now stretches over 2 months, while students in Beijing get theirs in just 2 days. Now, even New Delhi is stepping in, urging students to take the legal route. For a nation that sends the highest number of international students to America, this is more than just a statistic. While it is yet to be seen if this is just an immigration policy or targeted exclusion. But for thousands of young Indians, the American dream may be, just maybe, slipping away. Which is why it's important that we address this story on India Global. The big questions that I'm posing on our screens right now, and I'm going to in fact get you an exclusive conversation with one of that student who will be joining me to talk more. But as always, first up, the big questions on this story. Why are Indian students facing the steepest decline in visas? Is the US selectively cracking down on Indian students because of the difference in the number of rejections? What legal rights do students have when their visas are revoked without any warning? Why is the US visa wait time in India much longer than that in China or Japan? Will this dramatic drop impact America's talent pipeline? Because as I said, nothing, absolutely nothing is a one-way street. These talented people run America. And when they don't get their visas in time, when they don't align with the US economy, America stands to lose. Which is why I'm now going to get a Columbia University student joining me live to talk more about this situation, what's unfolding there, and the impact this is having on the student community there. In fact, former Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar also joins me on the broadcast to talk more on this. Ambassador Sajjanhar, thank you so much for joining me. But before I come to you, sir, I think it's very important that we listen in to the student joining me from America to talk more about the situation. And in fact, let's quickly put that we're keeping her identity secret for obvious reasons. We've changed her name as well. Thank you, and let's get that line connected right now. Okay, we've changed the name of the student to Divya. Divya, thank you so much for joining me and speaking to me on India Global. Let me start by asking you, what is the situation like on ground? Do you know anybody who's been directly impacted by what the Trump administration is doing when it comes to students and their visa revocations?
Yes. Hi. Thanks for having me. On ground, the reality right now is very scary. I myself know classmates in my own program who've been affected. I work a on-campus job, and every day you keep hearing about people not only from India but from other countries as well who are deeply affected, and visas have been revoked and students have been informed just the same day that from the next day they're going to be having an illegal status. And stories like this are coming up every day on campus now, and it's just a very scary time to be in the US. So it's just a scary time.
Have you been advised? When I say you and let's say several of your friends and other batchmates, what have all of you been advised to do in such uncertain times?
So the first thing that we've been advised, because as you know, summer vacations are coming up and many people book their flights in advance to go back home. There's a convocation happening in May. So we've been advised, first of all, to not travel out of the country. If the visa status that we're holding is okay for now, they said that in case of any travel internationally outside of the US, anything can happen. We won't be allowed to get back in the country. And there could be like lots of issues because our visas do say Columbia University as well, right? So a lot of immigration issues can happen. And for that, their recommendation has been that just simply do not travel, because once if things get out of control,
are you saying Indian students are now not traveling, or they are scared to travel back to India because they don't know what happens if they come back?
Yeah, exactly.
And do you know of anybody who's seen their visas being revoked without any proper warning or reason?
Yes, I do know someone directly impacted whose visa was revoked.
Can you tell us about what happened there?
So they just received an email from ICE, from the administration, saying that the visa has been revoked, and now from the next day they're going to be an illegal immigrant instead of legal. They had to de-enroll from all of their classes at Columbia. They were living on housing, on Columbia housing, and they had to leave that.
Why? What was the reason given?
There was no reason given. There was no reason given. It was just an email saying that now the visa has shifted and they need to contact their country's embassy and inquire about what the case has.
Are you saying that you know someone, a student, whose visa is revoked with a single email, with no warning, no reason given whatsoever?
Yes.
What are they doing right now about it? What is that person doing, that student doing now?
They're making appeals. The university has been supportive in the way that they have immigration lawyers on board. So we do have some legal services as students that we have access to. But again, these legal services are not private. These are public services. So of course, they are not as thorough as one would like. They're not as equipped to handle a lot of cases at once as one would like. So the process still going on. She hasn't been deported yet, the student I'm talking about, but she's still appealing. She's working with the university lawyer right now, and they're just working on a plan to what to do.
Divya, stay with me. I want to get a quick reaction from Ambassador Sajjanhar, and I'm going to come back with a follow-up question. Ambassador Sajjanhar, you're hearing the student live on India Global telling exactly how it's unfolding for Indian students there. What would be your advice to them?
You know, number one, it's very unfortunate what is happening, because it's not only to the students who are there. I know umpteen number of people, those who are green card holders and others who otherwise would have, full right to travel to the United States, stay there and come back. Even they are very apprehensive, particularly, where there are couples, husband, wife, child. The husband might be American, the wife might be Indian. They have to stand in different queues to, for the immigration purposes, and they don't know whether the visa of the wife, she has a green card, whether that would be honored or it would not be honored. So I think there is all this uncertainty has been brought in. And as we can see, there is this uncertainty not only in the area of trade and tariffs, but also in public.
Absolutely, indeed,
lives.
a lot of uncertainty. And in fact, Divya, let me ask you this: two questions quickly. Have you or have any of your friends, batchmates, reached out to the Indian embassy, and are they helping there in the US?
So thankfully for now, I don't know anyone who's had to do that. And I think I'm very grateful for that. But yes, we are constantly in contact with the international office at Columbia, and they have been contacting embassies all over the world to make sure they can come up with solutions. But of course, the environment is very uncertain right now, and the most common answer that we've been getting from the authorities is that it's too uncertain. We're trying to be in contact with embassies. But personal communication is something that has not happened yet between students and the embassy.
Final question I want to ask you, Divya, which is that Columbia is one of those universities which has been significantly impacted. There are others as well. Is there some sort of a student-led initiative to ensure that collectively these concerns can be addressed better?
Yes. So students are organizing. Even though these are risky times, everyone is worried about their identities. because as such, there's not being a lot of reasons given for the decisions that the administration is taking. So people are scared. It is risky, but at the same time, it is very important for all of us who've traveled half the way across to stand up with each other, right? So students have come up. A lot of international students are forming unions. We are protesting, and these protests are both virtual as well as on campus, in person. We're going to the president's office. We're going to the administration's office, getting them to answer, getting them to take our side, getting them to just hear our voices, right? And understand that for us, there is no one else in the country that can help us. It has to be the university. So yes, that has been very much prevalent throughout the university.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. Divya, you're brave, and I'm going to give you this assurance that NDTV will continue this campaign, and India Global here will continue to speak for the voices of all those who practically run America. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Divya and Ambassador Sajjanhar, for joining me on this debate. Well, at the end of the day, bottom line, viewers, is that America doesn't just benefit from Indian students, it depends on them. These are the engineers in Silicon Valley, the researchers in biotech labs, the future entrepreneurs who drive innovation. A 30% drop in visas isn't just a statistic, it's a self-sabotage. In a global race for talent, shutting the door on India's best and brightest is a short-sighted move that weakens America's edge. If the US wants to lead the future, it must stop turning away from those who can help build it better.